game at AT&T Stadium between the Dallas Cowboys and the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm Wayne Boxwell, a Countdown to Kickoff host, and we are not only back in prime time, but we got the Simpsons on board too in this very unique broadcast. The Simpsons Fun Day Football featuring the Bengals and Cowboys airs simultaneously in the iconic Simpsons cartoon world. That aside, this is still the Bengals' last chance to technically stay in a playoff hunt, and Dallas is rebounding from a bad stretch of games themselves to now having won 2 games in a row, looking for 3 tonight. The Bengals want to stop the Cowboys' streak and start their own, and that doesn't finish until New Orleans. In reality, the Bengals' playoffs start today. Win and you stay in, 1 loss and you're done. Standing by to call today's game at AT&T Stadium, my colleagues Dan Hort and Dave Lapham. Gentlemen.
Good evening, Box. Greetings from AT&T Stadium, a.k.a. Jerry World, this $1.3 billion palatial home of the Dallas Cowboys. This place is something else. We are high above AT&T Stadium right now in the end zone. Our vantage point is actually beyond the end zones. We're looking at it from an angle, but with this 60-foot-long scoreboard, we'll be able to see the action pretty well.
No question. I mean, this scoreboard always is mesmerizing. I mean, it's like, the thing is, the pixels, I mean, it's like crystal clear. Never seen a picture that large that is that clear. Yeah. It's amazing.
I think I misspoke. I think I said 60 feet as opposed to 60 yards.
Yeah, 60
it basically
yards.
goes from the 20-yard line to the 20-yard line.
Yep.
It's crazy. All right, let's talk about the game tonight. The Bengals come in at 4-8. The Cowboys are at 5-7. To me, Lap, I guess the question I have going into the game is which defense is going to make a couple of big plays to win it, because both of these defenses are giving up 28.3 points a game.
Exactly. I mean, the Bengals have given up 340 points, and the Dallas Cowboys have given up 339 on the season. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's crazy. And you look at it, the Cowboys, when they were on their 5-game losing streak, they gave up 47, 30, 27, 34, 34. And we know the Bengals have had those kind of problems as well. The offense scores 31, the defense gives up 33. The offense scores 34, the defense gives up 37. I mean, as we know, the Bengals are in one-score games, 7 points or less, 1-7. So which defense will be able to control the running game to the point where they can get their pass rush going? And honestly, since Micah Parsons has come back in the last 4 games, the Cowboys have 16 sacks, which is tied for most in the NFL with the Denver Broncos. And the thing is, what worries me is if the Cowboys do get the Bengals in long passing situations, 3rd and 5 to 3rd and 10. Zimmer comes up with all of his crazy blitz packages and pressure packages, and he's got 6 different players with 3 or more sacks. And Parsons is the leader at 6.5. The Bengals, as we know, they have Trey Hendrickson with 11.5, then drops all the way down to 2. Hubbard and Osai have 2 sacks each. I mean, there's nobody else.
2 weeks in a row, though, for Joseph. He's coming on.
He's coming on. But, I mean, it's like, man, you got so many guys being part of the pressure packages in Mike Zimmer's schematic. And the thing that is very tough as a former offensive lineman, Dan, he changes your angles that you have to take in sets, and he changes your eye discipline, your eye progression, because he'll have a 3 technique, the outside shoulder of the right guard, and he'll stunt him. You know, they'll do a twist. He'll bring him all the way over to the opposite A-gap, the A-gap between the center and the left guard. He'll bring him like 2 bodies over and then blitz the linebacker behind him. That is rare. That's different. That's unusual. And that's Mike Zimmer's schematic. So, I mean, the Bengals are going to have to stay out of 3rd and 5 to 3rd and 10, Dan. 1st and 2nd down become huge. And the Bengals have done a great job on 1st down during the course of the season. I mean, they're number 4 in the NFL. And Dallas's defense is 31st in the NFL on 1st down. So maybe the Bengals can stay out of that 3rd down and 5, 3rd down to 10 range where Mike Zimmer says, all right, I'm going to heat you up. Now I'm drooling.
Dallas historically has not been good to the Cincinnati Bengals. You told me this morning you played in Dallas once. It did not go well.
It did not, no. We lost the game handily, and I got introduced to Bob Lilly. In my rookie year, I went against Mike Reed in practice every day, and I'm like, wow, this guy's cat quick. Well, Bob Lilly was as well. And Tiger said to me after the game, my line coach, Tiger Jones, all right, young buck, which one's quicker? Who's quicker? I said, Tiger. That's like asking me what's the difference between, two hiccups from different guys. They're both cat quick. They're both great players, man. But that was my hero, Dan. I had number 74 in high school because of Bob Lilly.
The Bengals 1-7 all-time in Dallas. They haven't won at this stadium, AT&T Stadium, but tonight's the night. They're going to get it done on Monday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys. Box, let's go back to you.
All right, thanks, gentlemen. We'll be back more of Countdown to Kickoff right here on the First Star Logistics Bengals Radio Network.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Bengals and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Bengals tickets. And even if your plans get broken up, or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Bengals.
Shop the Bengals Pro Shop for the very best selection of Bengals gear. Choose from Nike sideline tees, polos, and new era caps. Look for your favorite player's jersey in men's, women's, and youth black or white. Want a football or bobblehead? We've got that too. Open 7 days a week. Located at Paycor Stadium Plaza level, North End Zone. Can't stop by? Then shop online at www.bengals.com/pro shop.
Thank you, Bengals fans, for choosing Ohio Valley Goodwill. Your donations and purchases uplift lives, empower work, and create lasting impact in our community. Goodwill. Donate stuff. Create futures.
Get ready for game day with Mixicals, Botanical Ice Mixers, proud partner of the Cincinnati Bengals. Harnessing the essence of fruits, flowers, and herbs, Mixicals takes your drinks from the sidelines to the end zone. Whether it's cocktails or mocktails, elevate your beverage game to MVP status with Mixicals. Available at the Party Source and other Cincinnati area retailers or online at Mixicals.com. That's Mixicles. Mixicals, proud partner of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Welcome back to Countdown to Kickoff right here on the First Star Logistics Bengals Radio Network, presented by Kickstand Cocktails. And the game preview was presented by the Ohio Lottery that Dan Horton and Dave Lapham broke down so eloquently. And speaking of breaking it down, I want to break down congratulations to Dave Parker going into the Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame. Dave, very deserving. All right, gentlemen, I tell you what, Brian Baldinger is part of the NFL Network and is known for his Baldy's breakdown. The former offensive lineman and now mainstay on the NFL Network spoke with our Dan Horde on a myriad of Bengals subjects.
It is always great to talk football with our guy Brian Baldinger from the NFL Network. And if you're like me, you love Baldy's breakdowns on social media. Baldy, you did one this week on Joe Burrow after the Pittsburgh game. Is he playing as well as any quarterback in the NFL?
Yes, he is. Joe, basically all year, I remember seeing him before that first Baltimore game, week 5 there in the jungle. And, he came out and said that he basically has to be perfect in order to win. And he didn't mean you had to be 30 for 30, but you had to maximize each one of your possessions because, things around him, around the team and the injuries they had and defensively just struggles, he had to be really good. And he's been really good. I'm sure he'd like to have a couple of his fumbles back last week, but, when you've got to drop back and throw it to win, some of those things are going to happen sometimes.
Let me talk about some of his traits with you. Ball placement, toughness, feel in the pocket. What makes you say, wow, when you put together those Baldy's breakdowns on Joe Burrow?
But I don't even know if those words really define it well enough because it is something that, and I've talked to Tom Brady about this, it's something you can't coach. What he has, you can't coach. That feel, when to step up, when to slide in the pocket, when to break the pocket, when to take the hit and deliver the throw, those kind of things you can't teach. And he's taken his share of lumps since he's been there. And we know this, we know how tough he is. But then just the way that he can go through a progression, just to from get to A to B to C to D, however he can do it, he does it as well as anybody. And then, his I don't know that anybody just sat down and taught him how to throw a football, but if you wanted to teach somebody how to throw a football, there was Tom Brady and there's been Joe Burrow. I mean, those two guys is where you would start. If you wanted to just throw the ball the way, so that the ball goes where you want it to go.
Then there's Jamar Chase. He's on a pace for more than 1,600 yards and 18 touchdown catches this year. How does Jamar do it, considering that every defense the Bengals face is designed to try to take him away?
Well, he plays with a great deal of awareness, first of all, Dan. So he knows where he's at on the field, and he knows everybody that's around him. So he has a feel for that. Then he's got extremely strong hands. So anytime there's a contested pass, he's going to snatch the ball with his hands. He doesn't rely on trying to body catch things. And then I think the other thing is he's got very quick eyes and quick hands. So he sees things, because what we see, Dan, you from your perspective, the broadcast booth, where I'm from, the broadcast booth, the game is totally different down the field. I mean, the game is largely obstructed. Either the quarterback finding the receiver or the receiver finding the quarterback and then the ball. His ability just to track a ball, wherever it is, he's got tremendous eyes and hands. And so when he does score, I think his celebrations are fun because, he did everything right to score. And there's a lot of things that got to go right to get it in there 13 times like he has this year.
The defense has obviously had its struggles. What do you think are some of the most important areas the team is going to have to address going forward?
Well, pass rush, Dan. Pass rush. They've been drafting him, Joseph Asai. You can look at, all the guys, Jenkins. But, outside of Trey right now, nobody's giving you any sort of consistent pass rush right now. And if you can't affect the quarterback, they're going to do what some of these quarterbacks have done to the Bengals this year. And so I would say it's got to start there. I know they've had, injuries and, whatever. But pass rush is, to me, the one glaring weakness on this defense right now.
You mentioned Joseph Osai and Chris Jenkins. There are some other young defensive players like Jordan Battle and Miles Murphy that are bound to get a lot of snaps in the final 5 weeks of the season. How important do you think it is for the Bengals to see what they have with those young defensive players?
Oh, it's huge. Lou's going to evaluate everything. The organization has to evaluate this to see just what their priorities need to be in the offseason via free agency or the draft. And so, if any of these 5 games are important. Now, you're going to see, Dallas this week, and they've got at least the last couple of weeks, they've had a backup left tackle in there. They've had a backup right tackle. They've had a rookie center. This is a pretty good test to see what these guys are going to do. These are not frontline starters that are going up against in some of these positions. And so, it's a good test to see if they can go to Dallas and win some of these battles up front.
Despite some of those things that you mentioned, the Cowboys do come in with a 2-game winning streak going into the game on Monday night. What is Dallas doing well right now?
Well, they found a way to beat Washington. They had the 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. I always say, Dan, at the beginning of every season, you want your special teams to help you win 2 games, but you definitely don't want to have them lose you 2 games. And so whether it's field goals or block punts or kickoff returns for touchdowns, Cowboys got that against Washington. But I thought on Thanksgiving, they ran the ball really well. Rico Dowdle, I thought, had his best game running, since he's been a starter in Dallas. And so up front, they did a really good job. Brock Hoffman is a backup right guard for Zach Martin. He played really well. So I think Cooper Beebe has really kind of stepped up as a center, a guy I think that they can lean on going forward. I think that. And then the other part is